First few days have been going well. Emphasis is definitely defense, so making sure everyone's on the same page, whether it's just a simple call or whether it's being in the right position or whether it's just communication from the jump. The coaching staff have been stressing defense, so these practices have been basically defense-oriented, but a little bit of offense, but everyone seemed to gel and coming together, buying into what the coaching staff is preaching to us.
A lot's been made about the players that have been brought in, but a lot of times the internal improvement has to be something that's accounted for. When you look at the guys who were here last year and came back, can you see the improvements and what they've worked on over the summer?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, we all know what Kyle's improved and worked on, his body and his skills. DeMar's being more of a vocal leader, taking the reins of this team and not solely dependent on his isolation game, but also working and, driving and knocking down threes on a regular basis. And JV's just improved overall his defense and his offense and his ability to score at the post and also be more comfortable on the perimeter, knocking down, shots. And JJ's improved, I've improved, just everyone's improved from last year's squad.
You mentioned JV, and I asked you about him on the defensive end. He didn't get to play as much in the fourth quarter as he did in the first three quarters, and a lot of that was defensive matchups. Is he ready to carry a bigger load defensively late in games?
I mean, it all depends on the coaching staff. It all depends on who's in the game. It all depends on matchup. Preferably you wouldn't want JV guarding a guy who's 6'8", like a Thaddeus Young type at the end of the game, unless there's a taller and a stronger big in there. You want JV in there. So it all depends on player personnel at the end of the game. But at the end of the day, JV's ready. JV wants to be in at the end of the game. It just all depends on the coaching staff and who's in the game.
Pat, have you noticed the coaching staff being more meticulous about their teaching in terms of, like Sherm was saying, the new guys coming in, everybody trying to learn? You got a new coaching staff as well. Have you noticed more attention to detail than last year at this point?
A lot more attention to detail, just because everything is so new, from the players to the coaching staff. So the coaching staff, they want to develop those relationships with the players at the same time, as well as making sure they cover every single aspect, every single area, not skipping over the little things, whether we know it or not. Some of us do know it. They still say it anyway, for those who may not know it, such as a new guy. So they don't skip over any little detail. They make everything be known.
You mentioned DeMar as being more vocal. How's that sort of manifesting itself, like on the court, off the court?
On the court, off the court. Well, off the court, everyone's pretty much tired, so we're constantly sleeping in the rooms. But on the court, DeMar is definitely one of the ringleaders as far as being the most vocal out there on the court, whether it's talking to teammates or whether it's talking to guys who are standing on the sideline, making sure guys are paying attention, in tune with what the coaching staff is preaching to us, and he's always encouraging everybody. So from the jump, DeMar is trying to take the reins of the squad.
You mentioned last year, like the end of last year, sort of being humbling for him and the team. Is that sort of a collective feel, like compared to the way you went out 2 years ago? Sort of, it was more, we're going to take this next step, and when you didn't take it, do you feel humbled in a way, like as a team?
A mixture of both. It's a yes and a no. We have improved. We've gotten better. We can build on the way that we went out in each playoff, whether it's from an individual's performance or whether it's from a team performance. So it's a mixture of yes and no.
Pat, you got a couple of new bigs on your team. Obviously, Luis, Bismack, and even Anthony. What have you seen so far from them?
Anthony's athleticism, his ferociousness around the rim, whether it's finishing with dunks or whether it's attacking the glass, and also his ability to knock down mid-range and three-point shots. Scola, I've known Scola since I first came into the league, so just his veteranship, seeing him hitting turnaround jump shots, some things I've never seen before. Of course, his spin cycle in the post, his ability to, stretch the floor, hitting his perimeter shots, and then Bismack, just overall his defense, blocking shots around the rim, rebounding, and just finishing with power. And he's improved with his post move, so he's a guy that we look to throw the ball in, so he's improved in that area.
Coach was saying that Bismack was going to be a focal point on defense in terms of communication. You see that already?
Yeah, Bismack's talking, whether it's in a ball screen, whether it's just help side defense, or whether it's on a trap, or whether it's running a transition. Bismack's been very vocal out there.